We are back at Jam-ology. This is Russ of Soul Pylot, and we're here with my dear friend Shari Little. We're going to talk everything music. We're going to talk. Well, bring up some stuff about the St. Augustine music scene, and about your background. All right, so let's just start out. Okay, saxophonist, vocalist. What came first?
Flautist.
Flautist.
Came first.
Flute came first.
Well, for what I stuck to, I was just telling Mike that I failed piano, I failed violin, and so the flute stuck. I tried guitar, but and then the sax came as a nice surprise because I was shopping for vocal music as a drama teacher, but couldn't help heading to the flute section because I had played as a middle schooler.
Right.
And somebody walked by. I don't know if they were a clerk or another customer, but random. If you play the flute, you can play the saxophone because the fingerings are very similar. And I went, ding! So a few months later, I traded my Signet Selmer flute, which I regret, for a crummy alto saxophone.
Okay.
And I was a school teacher of language arts at that time, but just as a hobby, I would drive my husband crazy and go in the bathroom while he watched Gator football and just, practice my scales and,
On alto.
On alto.
And you did you shift to tenor, or do you also still play alto?
I would like to have an alto. I
Okay.
have tried buying 3 different altos, none of which worked for me. This is not my first tenor. My first tenor I purchased from Bill Glenn, who is a local legend.
Okay.
He, if you've been here a while, you might remember he's an awesome tenor sax player. He actually does clarinet, alto.
So he covers the reeds.
He does. And he had a spare student model Yamaha, which I still keep as my backup. Mm-hmm. And it just felt right. And so I would love to get an alto, but for right now, this is enough.
That's your combination.
This is enough to carry around. And
alto players I know, well, not all, but many alto, and they do baritone.
Ah.
Okay, same key, right?
Oh,
and
I did
tenor
not know
players,
that.
Tenor and soprano.
Okay.
Okay, and they all play flute.
Yeah,
everybody, because that's all part of
sense.
it. But they all have their own signature, like who is really known as an alto player. Charlie Parker was an alto player. John Coltrane was a tenor player.
Right.
And a soprano player. Could they have switched if they wanted? Yeah, but their true voice, in Charlie Parker's case, was alto. But so that the guys that I've worked with in the past, they all could cover the reeds, but you knew what their what they
where
really,
it's at home.
Yeah,
right?
where
it
home
just
is.
It just feels like
some of
this
us.
is...
Some people can play acoustic guitar, and I own many, and a nylon string, but you have a certain voice that you sound. People buy you more with. Mm-hmm. I remember talking with George Benson, and we were chatting about Earl Klugh, and he said Earl played electric guitar as well, but he told Earl, "I buy you more when you play your nylon string." So
that's it.
You know what I mean?
I guess this is what I'm selling.
So that's it right now.
Right. So this is what you get to see and hear if
when you
come
go
to
here.
Teal Cabana Club.
Right.
Appearing June 2nd at 7 p.m. at Celestino's Wine Room on the island.
Right.
And then we go on holiday until August, at which point we are third Friday of every month. Solid.
At Celestino's?
That's our regular.
Right, and that's where Soul Pylot's there every Saturday. So you're our setup act, I guess, but which is a nice place to play.
I love it.
Talk to me about what got you into saxophone, besides and who you studied with. And you did say you went to University of Northern Florida.
I did, for vocals.
Okay.
Because I was not at the level. I mean, I played flute in middle school, okay? Then in high school, I couldn't take band and be on the dance squad. So guess which one I chose?
Okay.
Because I wanted to have pom-poms and, do high kicks with the girls.
Right.
So band took a back seat, did not do anything in college, but just felt like I wanted to play because I really just find so much joy in, I mean, even sitting in my room practicing, it's better than watching TV. I would rather develop myself. But when I was trying out at UNF, I was like, I'm not going in there with my horn. I'm going in there with what I think could sell as a jazz singer.
Right.
Got in the program. And then, you start having a baby, and the baby, you're not wanting to tell your toddler, well, mom's got a gig, so
so life got
had to put the horns away. Very sad. Got them out again. Now my daughter empty nested.
Okay, so now
this
you're
past year, and that's why we're really flying high.
I'm new here.
Yeah.
As we all know, from October. Talk to me about what you know, or how you can enlighten me about what's going on with the music scene here. Okay, I've witnessed some things. I've witnessed, the different levels. I've witnessed a lot of people that will, jump on a bandstand and pay out of their pocket to have people back them. Which I
never heard of that. I only saw it once, and
yes,
we
so
know about that.
We don't mention any names, but what drove me here, okay, is when I got fed up with I wanted to get out of the New York, New Jersey area because it was cold and I'm tired of it, and so I balanced New Orleans, Nashville, St. Augustine, New Orleans, and when I first came to St. Augustine as a visitor, I heard music everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, so I was like, wow, okay, this could work for me. And it has something that the others did not have, which was a beach, the ocean.
The truth comes out.
Okay, so it kind of won over. And there are a lot of music venues. Yes. Now, I might be way off base in saying this, but up till now, I see a lot of acoustic guitar.
Yes.
Sitting in the corner. I see a lot of Southern rock and roll bands. I don't see many people playing jazz, soul, R&B, funk.
Right.
That's my wheelhouse anyway.
Yeah.
And your band plays a lot of, I think, jazz standards.
We do that's our foundation, is in the jazz and the blues, but we can't help ourselves and dip into some of the oldies rock because it's very appealing.
Without a doubt.
And or things like Year of the Cat, Al Stewart. Just like random oldies, like we do You're So Vain, Carly Simon. You know, but anything can sound like jazz when you.
Well, you
add a saxophone to it.
Well, I mean, my feeling's always been that the American Songbook didn't end with Gershwin. It's continually growing.
That's right.
So you've been to my gigs where I've taken it to the streets, and
I know that one too.
And Dock of the Bay, and there was one night at Celestino's I started singing, Chuck Berry tunes. It wasn't done like Chuck Berry does it because that's what the jazz musician does, is hijack whatever he takes, So and I did learn that George Benson did songs that he grew up with, like Broadway.
I love that tune.
And George growing up did sing as a child, and he said that was a song that he had a band that was very much like the Drifters, where he was the guitar player, and the Drifters did that song. That was their hit in the 60s. And George just made it a 2-bar phrase as opposed to dum, dum, dum. He went dum, dum, da, dum, 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 to kind of update it. And that's how he hijacked it. And of course, with his playing, it's undeniable that's George Benson. Right. You just got to hear one note, and that's George Benson. So in my mind, playing jazz is not an affliction. It's what you do is you take a canvas, and you either paint like Pollock or you paint like Picasso. It doesn't matter. It's an empty canvas. Where some musics, you have to play what is appropriate. You're not going to play a bebop lick on a country gig. You know what I mean? You're not.
Right.
But jazz,
right,
you can
right,
play a country
right.
lick on a bebop tune. You know, so anyway.
Yeah, there's
you know,
a lot
that's
of
my
there's
rhetoric.
flexibility. I mean, you will hear Take Five, and you will
Right.
hear Fever, and you will hear, a lot of classic jazz. Girl from Ipanema. You know,
Right.
you call it Girl from Emphysema. I believe.
Emphysema.
Emphysema.
That's an old Berkeley thing.
Yeah. So we do a lot of the standards, but yeah, and we're always learning.
Right.
So we get tired of certain tunes, and we don't want our audience to get bored.
With the same tunes.
Right? So we try to.
What
just
sax
change it.
players do you listen to, or do you not?
Ooh, well, I mean, I love Grover Washington. He was a big influence on me. I've actually recorded just the two of us as a wedding gift to my husband and made a music video and all of this with it. So I really like him. I like Stan Getz a lot.
Okay.
So those two would probably be my favorite.
Now, growing up, did you listen to jazz at all?
Well,
or
the
were you-
reason I play Baker Street is because of that riff,
Okay.
the Jerry Rafferty
Right.
tune. I don't know who played that.
That original
sax.
riff.
I don't.
Okay.
But it's just when you're growing up, you're like, that sounds so cool. Someday. Now, when I was learning the flute, only the bad girls played the saxophone. So I was the
Right, yeah,
I
of
wanted to
course.
play the flute. Plus, it's a lot smaller to
angelic.
carry. It's very small. Like I would go around with my case, and I just didn't have. I mean, I always thought the sax was so cool, but I was like not ready for it yet. But then when I got older, I was like, no, I am going to learn this. I'm
Right.
going to learn how to play this and play it well and entertain and just have fun.
Right. I mean, a tenor sax has been part of everything for so long. I mean, Bruce Springsteen's sax player was legendary in that band.
Yes.
And of course the zillion sax players that appeared in the jazz world, from Coltrane on. You're right. It's not something you easily identify behind with a woman standing behind it. So it's
That's
very
it. I
hip. It's
feel
just like
like I'm
bass
a-
players.
Yeah, I'm like a novelty, like what? Wow, really? Like somebody, wow.
Right.
And the girls, whenever I see women and females on stage, I'm like, let's stop here.
Right.
We're staying. We're hanging
Right.
out. I'm gonna check this out because, like you said, it's a lot of, nothing wrong with. I like a good solo guitar guy.
Right.
But it's just appealing,
It
to
is.
see.
It is appealing.
People want to see themselves on stage. They want to be represented.
Right. Well, and we all want approval, which is combined to applause, which to me means the same thing. Briefly, how did you start your band?
Well, Anna.
And it's an odd name,
Yeah,
Teal
Teal
Cabana,
Cabana.
Club.
Okay.
And everybody dresses with a little bit of teal,
Yes.
which is one of my favorite colors. But
Oh, I adore. That's my color. So
Okay.
that's part of it. And so I have a screened-in porch, which has a teal cabana, like a roof, and it's screened in. But during COVID, we could get together and play
outdoors.
because it was outside. So we played in the heat. We played in the cold, and Anna actually approached me after the tragic death of her husband.
Uh-huh.
But she and we actually recorded just the two of us together.
Okay.
So I found her first from her piano shop. Then she found me. We played. We were like, this sounds good. Let's get a bass. Let's get a drum. The rest
And that
is
was
history.
it. Okay.
And we've been playing through the pandemic, and now we're out.
Right, but
We're doing
and there's
it.
a following. I mean, many
We're
people
good.
say
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
running down
yeah,
to hear that
yeah.
the Teal Cabana Club is playing. So you have acquired a following here.
We're getting.
And do you primarily stick to St. Augustine?
We do because it's much easier, and there are lots of places that we are also seeking out
Right.
to become regulars. There's a lot of city permits that are holding some new businesses back.
Right,
So
okay.
stay tuned for where we're going to gig next.
Well, all right. Well, that's a wrap for Jam-ology here. And if you want to find out more about Teal Cabana Club, track down them on their website as well as, and is there a is there?
We have a nice Facebook page
Okay.
that we put all of our gigs on.
All
so
right,
if you follow us, you'll get alerts,
And you can also track down Shari through Mike here at Jam-ology.